like the extreme northwestern edge of Bond County and then pushing on into Macoupin County until about 1:45. But these cells are zipping very, very quickly off to the north and east. You want to get into your safe shelter just in case this does touch down. And again, places like Kaufman, Alhambra, Olive, New Douglas, all in the path of the cell as it zips on to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour. Putting this into motion right now, you can see it over the past, really just over the last hour or so. That cell is still in northeastern Madison County, but it does look like it is weakening. They could actually cancel this warning. That is possible.
Jim, this is my mic on?
Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, yeah, so Jim, this is a really long watch box for something, warning box for something we usually see, and that's because of, like you've been saying, how fast these storms have been moving, and just the briskness of these particular storms. Now, with these storms, our main concerns with this would be just a brief spin up. Now, sometimes strong winds can do more damage than one of these brief spin up storms can do, but this is still something you want to be aware of because those storms can send debris flying everywhere. So your main risk would be debris at this point. And you can see it really is starting to diminish a little bit here with this particular storm. So we're going to continue to watch this along with the National Weather Service. These have been very, kind of brief storms as they've moved through pretty fast, which is why that warning box is so long. That is, these storms are coming at you very fast. Like if you're in Litchfield right now, it'll only be another probably 15-20 minutes before that storm comes through you. So this is a pretty disorganized storm system altogether as these storms track through, and we've seen some rotation pretty briefly on the radar, and then this particular storm had enough rotation to indicate that tornado warning. So as far as these storms go, nothing large, but these could be a very small tornado. As we've mentioned, this is a radar indicated rotation that is starting to really weaken as we're watching this. But with radar indicated storms, that means that nobody is on the ground to spot these storms and confirm them for us, but that we're seeing enough rotation within these cells as we check the different layers, the velocity, and then just the reflectivity. We see a little bit of rotation in that system, enough to take a look as we start to get this tornado warning going. I'll go ahead and also check in on our power outages, see if there's any power outages in the area. That's also a good sign that there is some activity on the ground, as a lot of times even strong winds that are associated with these thunderstorms can knock out power for a few areas. We had quite a bit of that earlier this morning. Now, as far as these systems go, they are also something that they're not particularly rain wrapped today. So they are a storm that you would definitely, if you were on the roads, you could see them coming. So you definitely want to pull over for that. And not a lot of lightning with this storm either, which shows that it doesn't have a lot of strength. It's mostly wind generated with this particular storm.
And Tracy, you're right. It really looks like it is weakening. I'm surprised that the warning continues. I'm reading the chat here to make sure they're going to continue on with that warning, but it really does look like it is weakening. So let's go through the warning. At 1:10 p.m., that tornado warning was issued, and 1:45 it goes through northwestern Bond County, southern Illinois, northeastern Madison County, southeastern Macoupin County, and southwestern Montgomery County in Illinois. It is zipping on to the north at about 45-50 miles an hour. And like Tracy was saying, a radar indicator rotation, so there's no indication that this has actually touched the ground, but it is zipping on to the north very quickly. And again, people in the locations in the path of this, Livingston, Staunton, and to Mount Olive and Litchfield, but it does look as if this is weakening quite a bit.
I'll go ahead and put a track on this particular storm for us as well. So into Walshville and South Litchfield around 1:30 here, so within the next 15 minutes, and into Litchfield by about 4 o'clock. Moving very fast, this particular storm. So it's, as these storms often do in our area, it's moving right along Interstate 55. During the summertime, we might have to worry about, somebody being out and about camping, for example, but this system is, happening during the middle of a workday for us. So that's a good sign there. Let me go ahead and point out some mile markers of where this is headed to next. Of course, the Litchfield Municipal Airport, within the next 20 minutes or so, it'll be there to you. Lake Cohoe, that area, so Shore Drive, Panther Creek Road, this is headed to you guys next. And so it's going to be a kind of a brief system as it comes through, but those winds are going to be howling as this comes through. As we've mentioned, this has very weak rotation in it, so debris could certainly be an issue with this particular storm. So it's definitely something we want to watch for with that. This is also near the old Mount Olive Reservoir, if you're familiar with that area as it comes through. And then White City, so you guys are also right along with this as well. You guys are in that heavy rainfall right now, and you have a second round kind of coming through as this system has some heavy rain and then some lighter rain associated with it as well. And certainly winds are going to be an issue with this as this tornado warning continues on here. So this is a radar indicated tornado. So we do not actually have confirmation. So no one on the ground has spotted it and confirmed it as a tornado, but we have radar indicated rotation. So certainly the ingredients are out there, which is why we've been under, a watch throughout most of the day here, just to watch for that severe weather and that it could develop. We have strong winds. We have just the ingredients for a brief spin up. This wouldn't be something major today. It would be a small tornado that could certainly take shingles off, splice a tree in half, could certainly do damage as far as that goes. So like I said, into White City here, it's just starting to move into there, and your heavy winds are coming next. And then it will continue up along Interstate 55. If you're in the old Mount Olive Reservoir neighborhood, you are up next. Lake Cohoe, you're also up next with this. Going to have some strong winds there for sure. And as we continue kind of up along Interstate 55 here, Litchfield would be our next largest area this is headed towards.
And Tracy, so the National Weather Service is talking about at about 1:05 p.m., which is numerous minutes ago. Again, a spotter at St. Louis Metro East Field looking north could see a funnel, and the funnel did not touch down, and that's exactly what we were thinking. That radar indicator rotation, and it does look like that cell is starting to die down quite a bit. These cells are zipping off to the northeast at about 45, 50 miles an hour, but still a tornado warning is in effect. And again, those cells, you're in the clear, it looks like east of Hamel is where that cell is, and then pushing into just east of Staunton. So the Staunton area, you need to get in your safe shelter just in case that tornado does touch down. Like Tracy was saying, though, a brief and small tornado is more than likely the issue with this cell.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're, Litchfield, it has a little bit more in terms of infrastructure. So the Hampton Inn, that's right there on Interstate 55. The system looks like it's going to come right up next to that. There's also like the Holiday Inn and the Ruby Tuesday, that's along that area. Then there's kind of before it hits there though, Airport Trail Road, for example, it's a little bit more less populated. So this system's first going to move through there, and then it's going to come through the Litchfield area. And it looks like, right along Interstate 55 is where this system is heading. So right along the roadway. If you're further away from Interstate 55, you're probably only going to see this system from a distance with those dark clouds. And that it would be a brief spin up today if we did get any sort of touchdown. But like Jim was mentioning, they saw a funnel cloud as this was coming through.
Yeah, and Tracy, a little bit more information coming in from the National Weather Service. While the tornado warned storm continues to look more disorganized, they're worried about it a little bit, cycling as it already is once before. These fluctuations, strengthening, weakening of the low-level cyclone are happening very fast, in the order of 2 to 3 minutes within one volume scan. And so that's why they're going to continue with this tornado warning that's in effect until about 1:45 p.m. And again, it is, like Tracy was saying earlier, a good point that the cell itself is small, but the tornado warning is very long because it's moving to the northeast at about 45, 50 miles an hour. And when you get these small spin-up tornadoes, brief tornadoes, they can cause damage. They're not as bad as the large ones that you can get, of course, but again, just watching this area, dangerous storm, again, could be near Warden right about at this point, about 1:21 p.m.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and take a broad look at this system for you, so we can kind of see what's going on here. I'll even take this to the the Midwest view, if you will. This is a well-defined system here as this starts to come through, and you can see this area, these line of particular storms here. The tailing end of this is where we're getting this rotation, and with these storms, we did have a little bit of sunshine breakthrough, and on days like today, you don't want to root for that sunshine because that sunshine is going to help those storms get that little bit of lift that could bring them out to be severe. And we just have the ingredients today for one of those slightly smaller systems. So with this, I'm continuing to track this particular storm, but look at how small it is and how fast these systems are moving. So as far as this storm goes, let's go ahead and zoom in here, and I'll go ahead and track this out for you. It is just starting to move into a more populated area now. So as it starts to come into Litchfield, as I mentioned, the Hampton Inn that's right there, it's coming very close to that. So let me go ahead and put a track on this particular cell, and then I'll also do one for this Staunton cell. So there's your first one for Litchfield, about, we're 8 minutes away from that, into Raymond by 1:43, and then into Ricks by 1:54. And then as we head further south, that next line here will be into Walshville by about 1:32 and 1:45 into Butler.
Yeah, and Tracy, just they're continuing that tornado warning. Again, a very small cell, but we're watching it for Macoupin, Madison, parts of Macoupin, Madison, Montgomery counties to 1:45. So at 1:20, the severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Livingston, like you were just saying, Tracy, and moving northeast at about 45 miles an hour. So at about 1:50, it might actually be right over Irving.
Yeah, this storm too, pretty fast, and as we've mentioned, radar indicated, but we have had some small sightings. So we've had a sighting already of a funnel cloud this is reported from the National Weather Service. So certainly the ingredients, the rotation, something that's very threatening, something we want you to know about. These storms, while small, can do a quick burst here, take off roof shingles, for example, and you don't want to be outside when debris could be flying around, even tree branches, for example, something like that. So you certainly don't want to be around those areas. I'm checking the outage map currently, and nothing so far is popping up, but we certainly had an active morning so far. Let me go ahead and take a look. Everything for the most part is in the green except for one area that's over in Missouri from earlier today with this particular system. So I'm continuing to track this for us. We've had some very dark clouds out there for us as well. Let's go ahead and put a track. I'm putting a track on this second area. This is the one towards Staunton, and then I'll also do one on that system that we have seen rotation from, which was a little closer up. But we also need to pay attention to this one. So 1:54 into Raymond and 1:57 into Witt and Hillsborough. You're up at 1:45 here. So all pretty soon. And then let's go ahead and put a track on this one because this one's about to move into a pretty busy part of town. It's going to come right past that municipal airport there in Litchfield. It's going to go right over, I think it's the Hilton that's in that area. Let me take a peek. Yeah. So the Walmart Supercenter, all this area is going to get hit with this pretty quick system that's going to pack a very windy punch behind it as well. So 1:31 into Litchfield, so we're coming right upon that, just 7 minutes away from that. Raymond by about 1:45 and Ricks by 1:54.
Yeah, Tracy, that cell itself, right on the northern end of Madison County, just east of Staunton. Zipping on to the northeast, northeast at about 45 miles an hour. It is a very small cell, and there have been reports of noticeable wall clouds, poorly defined is what we're reading on the National Weather Service chat here. But nonetheless, a tornado warning continues until 1:45, and you can see there Walshville and also Litchfield is included in on this. Again, very small cell that is producing some rotation and radar indicator rotation, and not as of yet a confirmed tornado on the ground.
Right, and Jim, I would be surprised if we did get a tornado on the ground from this. If we did, it'd be very brief. Today's system is one of quick spin-ups of something that'd be very small, a 0 or a 1 perhaps, but a small system nonetheless, enough to still cause damage with trees down, certainly enough to make a mess out of things, and something you don't want to be outside in for that debris. So I'll go back again and show you a broader look at this system here. This has been a pretty well-defined system. It wreaked a lot of havoc overnight for some areas as far as tornado warnings go, a bit stronger storms. It came over us for the early morning hours, so we got pretty lucky. If this had happened during the day, we might have had a bit more of an active afternoon. And as this storm goes behind this area, so I'll go ahead and point this out to you. The area behind this over St. Louis, so let me go ahead and bring it in a little bit closer here. There's an area of rainfall towards Herman. I'm less worried about severe storms with that, even though it does look like a broader piece of the radar, for example. Like, let me go ahead, I'll go ahead and put a little circle on this. This area, we don't have to worry about as much as we do over, for example, like this area over Carbondale that's generating a lot of lightning, and then up towards the Mount Vernon area. And then we have that storm cell that's up towards Litchfield that has been causing some of our issues today as far as this tornado warning goes. So with this particular storm, as you can see, it is weakening a little bit. It's moving along very fast though. These storms for us, typically when we're tracking storms, we're talking, 30, 40 miles an hour. This one's almost close to 50, which is why that watch box is so long, and they'll probably bring that down, the National Weather Service will, as we get closer to its expiration here at 1:45. We'll see if they extend it as well, potentially. As we mentioned, there's been a sighting of a funnel cloud. There's been no reported, no sightings of something that has touched down, but something that has come very close with that funnel cloud. So lots of strong winds with this storm, and it's going to pack a very small punch, and it looks like it's currently centered right over, the Hampton there that's towards Litchfield, just right around, where the McDonald's is, and there's the Walmart right over this particular area. And then it starts, as it moves up, there's a little series of those ponds as it comes up right along Interstate 55, and then it gets it over into more rural area.
Yeah, it's amazing, Tracy, how much this has weakened and looks so tiny. But, we had that daytime heating, and I knew when that sun popped out, and I saw that in downtown St. Louis, that the Illinois counties would have a lot of instability. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And like Tracy was saying, luckily this entire storm system, if it would have actually moved in a little bit later, we probably would be in a little bit more trouble here. But definitely some spin and rotation within this cell. They're continuing the tornado warning for Macoupin, Madison, Montgomery counties, only small slithers of these counties. And so Tracy will track this out for you and show you what cities exactly, including Litchfield is one of them, that you need to be in your safe shelter just in case a tornado does reach the ground.
Yeah, and especially for, you don't want to be out with all that debris around. You're much better off inside your home at that point. So let me go ahead, I'm going to bring this up just a little bit here for us. As you can see, there's this storm system for us. I'll go ahead and put a track on it, a bit of a wider track so we can get a better direction on this. But Bear Creek, for example, closer to 2 o'clock, and this is within, we have not seen a extended tornado warning on this yet, and I don't think we will. I'd be kind of surprised if we did. And just as the system has really weakened a lot. But there's kind of two cells within this particular one that are packing a windy punch. You can see they just dropped that watch box as we were kind of expecting on that. Let me go ahead and take a better look at this now.
Yeah, it looks like Bond and Madison are out of the warned area now, which is good. So you're in the clear in Bond County and also Madison County. But they're continuing that tornado warning in effect for southeastern Macoupin County and southwestern Montgomery counties until 1:45. But it does look like that cell is collapsing and weakening quite a bit.
Yeah, and what I don't want to see, which you kind of see here on the satellite views, you can see a bunch of clearing behind this. You don't want to root for sunny days on these days when we just have all the ingredients for that severe weather, because it can help these storm systems grow. I'll zoom in again here. You can see it doesn't look like much on here.
Right.
But yeah, and it's very far away from that radar site. That radar site is closer to St. Charles and St. Peter's than it is to this, so that radar beam has to go quite a distance before it can actually read this storm well. But we have a ground report of a funnel cloud, certainly a very threatening system with this one, and certainly some strong winds. We've seen a gusty day, a blustery day altogether for us for the fall. And if you're wondering, it is not unusual for us to have severe weather in the fall. This is something that certainly happens. News. We have canceled our tornado warning. So we will get you back to that programming. Yes. Thank you so much for sticking with us here on Channel 5, and we'll be back to your regular programming.
Stay weather aware and make sure you have a good place to go if a warning is issued.
through the box areas as it does start to make its way out of the 5 on your side coverage area, but we still want to keep you posted on where this is headed. So 308 into Clements, Reese by 315, and about 320 into Arnold, Illinois. That's 320 into Arnold, Illinois as it makes its way out of the 5 on your side coverage area. This storm has indicated hail of about a size of about ½ an inch on this storm as well, which we seeing that hail, a little bit of lightning. This is more of a rain wrapped system, so this is not something that you're going to be able to go outside and actually take a look at, so you might as well head inside to a safe spot. So this is expiring at 3:15 with this, and so this is now a confirmed tornado near Athensville, moving along north at 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, they're even seeing a little bit of what were indicative of flying debris noticed by their radar, Tracy. So that's something new that I'm reading here. And also, again, let's see, confirmed tornado near Athensville, moving northeast at about 35 miles an hour. So not quite as fast as that previous tornado warning that we had around Madison County in Illinois.
Right. So let me go ahead and see if I can bring on the velocity scope here. This might take me just a minute to bring this up. But with that velocity, we can get a better idea of the direction this storm is turning, as well as just what we're looking at as far as possible debris in the air with this storm. I'm also going to check and see if we have any power outages. That's also a good indicator of what is going on out there.
So again, just reiterating, everybody in northeastern Greene County, so we have that tornado warning in effect until 3:15 p.m. and a confirmed tornado on the ground and moving north at about 35 miles an hour. It is about to move out of the viewing area. A new warning has been issued outside of the 5 on your side viewing area as it pushes on to the northeast. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught outside. Of course, mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. So again, you want to make sure that you are not in a mobile home, not in a car. You're in a safe spot, and likely in a very strong building or in the center of your home, away from windows and as many walls in between you and the outside. Tracy.
Okay, so what I'm looking at here is this is a velocity just scan of the radar. And when you're seeing the different red and green there, that's indicating the direction that those winds are turning near the radar. So the direction the storm is going. So red away and green is coming towards. So you can see this storm does indeed have a bit of rotation within it, and this is an indicator of this tornado warning here. So let me go ahead and also put a track on this storm here for us. I'm going to bring this back out to a more widespread view so you can see where this is. This is just about the top of our coverage area, but we're going to go ahead and track it out for you anyways, just in case you are in this area. We want to keep you informed of this current storm. So as I showed you on the velocity, it has that rotation. When you start to see those green and reds kind of couple close to each other, that's a good indicator of that. We'll go ahead and track this out for you. It does move out of the 5 on your side coverage area here pretty quickly. Once it is a little further outside of our coverage area, we will turn it back over to our regular coverage. But Clements by about 3:12 here, Arnold by 3:23, Alexander by 3:28, and then up into Cartwright by about 3:48. This new warning here, though, is set to expire, I believe, at 3 o'clock. So it expires here in 20 minutes. So just about 3:15 for us. Rain wrap system, so not something you're going to be able to go out and see. So I know that's a dad thing to do, but dad, stay inside and head downstairs to a good safe spot. You would not be able to see this tornado anyways.
You know, and it's interesting, Tracy, because that cell itself is rapidly moving out of northeastern Greene County. So, and they are saying that occasionally it seems as if it was indicated on the ground, and maybe now it is. It may not be. So again, it spins up and comes back down. That's what we're seeing with this cell, and we've been seeing this with a couple of these cells at mid-level and sometimes low-level rotation that we're now getting with this tornado warned cell in northeastern Greene County in Illinois.
Sure, and with this is just the type of day for us to have those quick, brief hit tornadoes. We've already seen some rotation earlier. We've seen rotation off and on throughout the day, but we were tracking a funnel earlier kind of near the Belleville area. And our ingredients today, we've got just the perfect amount of weather for just a very brief spin up. But yet these spin ups can be pretty dangerous. We can still have flying debris. This would something be, if you were going to categorize it, would be closer to a 0 or a 1 storm, which of course is determined after they check for debris and to see if there was an actual tornado on the ground. But usually days like today, it usually amounts to a 0 or a 1. Sometimes strong winds can do even more damage than a tornado of that size. Number of strikes as far as lightning goes, this is a good indicator of storm strength. We only have about 47 in this area, and that's a wide spread that I took this chunk in, from all the way up from Carrollton all the way up into Jacksonville and Bluffs. Rainfall rate is pretty high as well with these storms. They have just been really pushing dropping quite a bit of rainfall for us. Let me go ahead and show you just a rainfall rate from one of these storms. We've seen about an inch to even a little bit higher, to about 2 to 3 inches for that. So this tornado warning continuing on through about 3:15 today. I'll go ahead and put a track on this as it makes its way out of the 5 on your side coverage area, and we'll turn it over here in a little bit, but into Clements 3:08 and Orleans by 3:22. Jim, from the signature, I think it is out of our coverage area now, so we might be able to return to regular programming.
Well, and one last little update here. We just got a report of the spotter at about 2:50 east of Root House that the tornado had lifted, but the storm still had strong rotation in it. It is now moving out of our viewing area into Morgan County in Illinois. So take cover there. If you have friends there, make sure they get to their safe spot as this cell continues to move out of the area. Stay with us. We'll continue to keep you updated as things progress.
We interrupt this program for a 5 on your side special report.